Hello everyone,
Hi everyone, welcome to episode 7 of
not your typical couple in New York City.
Yes, I think today probably marks day 60-ish in our quarantine life. So
Yeah.
we've been thinking, um, just because we are quarantined in our own home, it doesn't mean that we can't form good habits and breaking the bad ones. Trying to be at least a little bit productive in our personal life. So we've picked up this book, which is called Atomic Habit. A lot of people have probably already heard of it, and it's
Or even read about it.
Yeah, a national bestseller. A lot of our friends definitely recommended it. Disclaimer: we haven't read it in full yet, but like every practical reader out there, we immediately flip to the
Implementation.
exactly the
Yeah.
practical tips, because we wanted to kind of see how it played out in our life, and we just can't wait to try some of these tips. So in the next couple of minutes, we'd like to share some of our reflections by reading all those tips, and also things that we recently started trying, in the hope that might give you some inspirations of some habits that you have longed to form or to break. We can't wait to share them with you. You might find us looking down. This is basically us checking our cheat sheet.
Some notes.
Some notes that we made. So basically in the book, I think the author basically, provided a really good framework and practical framework around how to form good habits and how to break the bad ones. Basically, there are 4 laws under how to form good habits, and then, breaking the bad habits essentially is just an inversion of the laws for forming good habits, which makes a lot of sense. So we'll just go through each of the laws in how to form good habits and share some of the tidbits that we find resonate with us the most.
Yeah, with our own experience.
Exactly. So law number 1, so the author suggested, making it obvious. Basically, I think one of the things that he talked about is, form a habit track. Like once you track it, and then you all of a sudden a lot of things, the little things that you do that you previously were not aware and now become so apparent, which is basically what I did when I was trying to work on my finance management skills. Like I don't think I ever like overspent, but I tend to overwhelm when I don't know what's happening. And before last year or the year before, I didn't really think about it, just because I think I just trying to avoid that topic. So I've been successfully avoiding that topic for long enough until one day I woke up and decided, hey, you know what? From today on, I'm determined to change that. So I downloaded this app called EveryDollar, and then that app, essentially I use that as a habit tracker, if you will. I log in every expense, big or small, onto that app, and I've been using that for a year and a half now, I think. But I actually realized the other day while we were going through this list, and I realized I haven't even checked that app for so long, because I already kind of know how much I spend on certain things, certain categories like groceries or utilities and some other stuff. So I think it already kind of prepared me in a good stage where I can now know when or how much I should spend on certain things, just because knowing my habits or what budget allows, I already don't have to use the app anymore.
Just to have an idea, okay, at each time, what is like your allocation into like different categories of spending?
Yeah. So law number 2, make it attractive. So Lincoln, I know you have an amazing habit of waking up super early in the morning.
Used to be.
Well, you still do.
Yeah.
But I know when we first met, I was so surprised or even shocked knowing that you actually got up every day at 5 o'clock and then went to bed like super early. You basically live the lifestyle that I have longed for long to try it out but never succeeded. So can you tell us how you make that habit happen?
Yeah, sure, of course. I used to wake up at 5:30 and went to a coffee shop near my house at 6:30 because our coffee shop open at 6:30, and because their coffee tastes so good, and we know that waking up that early is so painful, even for me, I have to say. So especially during the winter when it's so cold outside, nobody want to went to the coffee store that early. But for me, in order for me to get up that early, I want to be there when the coffee store opens. I want to be their first customers. So that is associated with like getting up early and being competitive and be the first customer of that coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the most like major incentive for me to get up that early.
Yeah.
But right now, as we are in the quarantine, I cannot go out. So kind of like got up, not pretty late, but not that early.
Well, I would say 7 a.m. is still pretty early in my bucks at list. So that's definitely a wonderful habit to have. And I also know that, by going to the coffee shops that early in the morning, you also kind of, get to know people who have
Yeah.
a similar habit. So that kind of reinforces that.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. And law number 3 is make it easy. So basically the idea is reduce the friction as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been trying this, again, before I even know this is workaround that you can do to form a good habit. Is that I've been, coupling my toothbrushing time with some basic workouts. So what happens is that every morning and night, whenever I'm, toothbrushing, sometimes, like before this whole thing, I used to just find it so boring. So I can't wait to just like stop it and just, go on my day.
Yeah.
But, one day I just like, oh, why don't I, try to work out a little bit while I'm toothbrushing because, why not? So I began doing some like really simple ones like squats.
Yeah.
And I think I started from like 10 squats to now I literally do 20 squats, like normal squats, and then I do like the side squats for another 20, and then I do like a back kick for another 20, and then I do like a small step. How do you say, like it's not a full-on jumping jack, but it's like jump around, and then I count to 60. So it's definitely like I don't know, I'm just hooked to that process, and I went from like dreading the whole boring toothbrushing time to now I look forward to brushing my teeth every day and twice every day. So I think my endurance has definitely gone better. It's definitely as a result of those little
Small squats.
Exactly. Yeah. So law number 4, which is the last law, is make it satisfying. I personally like this one a lot. So lately we've been trying meditation.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that we really like doing it, well, let's back it up a little bit. So last year we went on a silent retreat where we're not supposed to talk.
You cannot use your cell phone because there is no signal there.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's when we started to, become more interested in meditation. But I just couldn't do it for the longest time because I can't sit idle. I have to like find energy from like constantly moving around. So we started actually doing meditation most recently.
Yeah.
And I think the way how we sustain it is because we actually, we do it together first and foremost. So, and then afterwards we kind of share, okay, so what went through your mind, or how did you feel? And then we just find joy afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's just really as simple as that.
Cool. So we talk a lot about the positive experience I believe the book also talking about how to get rid of the bad experience.
Or
And
bad
so-
habits.
Yeah, bad habits. So
Yeah.
Abby, could you share about your like what you learned from this book?
Yeah, so like we mentioned, breaking bad habits essentially is a version of, the 4 laws that we just talked about in forming good habits. So basically, one thing that we tried in the past week is that, so Lincoln is trying to get me away from my snacking little habits, especially during quarantine. It's so hard to not make trips to your kitchen, especially for us, like we live in an open sort of plan so our living room is not entirely separated from our kitchen. It's just so convenient, and you're constantly reminded of all those wonderful snacks in your cupboard. So we've been trying this little thing. So every time when I trying to get some snacks, and Lincoln would ask me to do 20 burpees, and I would actually do it. And after I did it, and I just it's not like I just don't want it, because I physically so tired or out of breath that I just couldn't think about it for at least another half an hour. And then afterwards I would still get some, but then it wouldn't be just mindless binging or mindless eating, if you know what I mean. So I would say try it out. If burpee isn't your thing, maybe push-ups or whatever. Just little things that will make the friction, make it more difficult. Yeah. And you have another you want to share?
Yeah, I tend to just leave my phone in the living room before I go to sleep. Maybe even an hour before I sleep, I never check my phone. Used to have very good sleep and never think about anything.
You do, I can attest to that. Cool, alright, so let's wrap up this video by saying one last bit about forming good habits is, getting the reward, right?
Yeah.
So us doing these, small vlogs, if you will, is actually something that we look forward to, because we know that once we post it and people, our friends and family who watch those, and will give us some feedback or
Yeah.
struck a conversation around it. So those are the rewards that we constantly look forward to, thus driving us to make more and more
Yeah.
videos like this. So definitely, if you have more feedback for us, and send those on, because you're helping us forming good habits. So thank you.
Thank you.
See you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.